top-class defensive midfielder should not be underrated. And that's one thing what we need right now. A lot of people don't respect the impact a machine of a defensive midfielder can make and the difference it can make. Whereas it is no coincidence that Leicester City won the Premier League title in the season 2015-16, and then Chelsea won the league title in 2016 and 2017. Why? What one thing did them two teams have in common in these 2 years back to back? Kante. N'Golo Kante was like having two players all in one. He just sat in front of the back line, whether it be the back three of Chelsea or the back four, and he shielded them from attacks all across the pitch. And I'm just looking at some stats now. He led the Premier League in terms of tackles and interceptions over the 2 seasons. So it says 302 tackles, 238 interceptions. Now that is the level of defensive midfielder that United need. Is Ugarte going to turn into this player? That he's still fairly young. However, although he could fit in and do a job, for me, he's not of that level. When you look at Rodri as well at Manchester City, although not like for like next to Kante, he is a positional genius. He knows what position to take up, where he can break up attacks. According to the stats, in one season, he made over 260 recoveries with 91.1% pass accuracy. And of course, he suffered a really bad injury. But before that injury, he was regarded by many as one of the best defensive midfielders in the world. This is a quality that if we are going to step up, United need to bring in. We need a defensive midfielder of this quality, in my opinion, more so than we need Sesko, which I talked about in the last video. A few other players to mention what step up and fill that massive defensive midfielder role for clubs. Declan Rice, when he was at West Ham, now at Arsenal. He's really locked up and secured Arsenal's defence over the past 2 seasons. Caicedo, who went to Chelsea, moved from Brighton, and he is somewhat a replica of Kante. He is a prime ball winner. Again, United, we haven't got someone on that level. And then you look at Liverpool when they had Fabinho, who was at the heart of that central midfield defensive area when they won the league title in 2019-2020, and then when they nearly got the quadruple in 2021 and 2022. So we all should know, as United fans, that we do need such a player, but who's available? Really difficult to bring in suitable players at a right price. Now prices are just going absolutely crazy. But we have been linked with a few before who we could revisit, and actually, instead of spending the money on Sesko, again, like I mentioned in the video, let's lay it down for one of these defensive midfielders. Again, we're not talking about someone who's already established as a world-class player, but we just need to get someone as close to Kante as possible, or someone who is going to bring that Premier League title a little bit closer. So French international Fofana. Fofana is a defensive midfielder known for his work rate and his ability to win possession, just like Kante. Price tag could be around £25 million. It could be inflated up to £35 million. But if we could get someone like that for £35 million, that's a great deal. If we don't go for Sesko, that leaves up other funds for a goalkeeper, which we need as well. Alvarez, who's at West Ham, he's also been linked in the past, especially when Erik ten Hag was at United. Apparently his contract doesn't end until 2028, so that's going to make his price tag a little bit more, around 40 to 50 million pound. And then there's Guimaraes at Newcastle United, probably one of the best defensive midfielders in the Premier League. Unlikely that Newcastle will let him go for anything less than 80 million. And with the ongoing they're having at the minute with Isaac, they could be asking for anything up to 100 million for the player. Very unlikely that would happen, but that's what we've got to be aiming for. And then just one more, who we was in touch with by Leverkusen before, with Palacios, Argentina defensive midfielder. Again, his contract runs till around 2028, so it could be around 50 to 60 million pound price tag. But look, if we could get one of them just to bolster up that defensive midfielder area, alongside Ugarte, or actually pushing Ugarte for that position. Yes, we have got Casemiro, but his fitness and his consistency would be my worry. We need to lock this position down to protect our back three centre-backs, and we need to be winning the ball back as quickly as possible, giving it to our players who can make things happen. Because now, as you've seen, we've got the transitions moving from defence into attack in seconds. Defensive midfielder can help us out with that. Let's get it going. Let's get this season underway.